without which it won't work, recycling infrastructure and basic fundamentals of recycling plans in this state. And that's why we're dedicating so much time and airtime to it. But our next speaker is actually Justin Wilcock, and he's the Director of General Operations at Marin Sanitary, working with their collection operation. Prior to Marin Sanitary, he was in Community Relations Manager for Sonoma County Resource Recovery. And before that, he was at Waste Management of Alameda County. He is going to speak about the decision to go from single stream to dual stream. Take it away, Justin.
Thank you. Well, I am excited to be here today and speak to you about dual stream collection. My name is Justin Wilcock and I'm with Marin Sanitary, as Rebecca said. My bearings here. Clicker, not the computer. Sorry, I'm going to mess something up here. All right. So Marin Sanitary Service is a company that was founded by scavengers who truly understood resource recovery. Joe Garbarino, one of our owners and the chair of our board right now, tells some great stories about his experience growing up in the industry. And he talks about when he was a kid in San Francisco, how collection happened. Back then, they'd go out on a truck, there'd be 4 people, and they'd go from street light to street light. And 3 people would get out, go collect the material in their burlap sacks and bring it back to the truck. The 4th person was in the truck separating materials, recoverable materials, bottles, cans, and rags at the time. So at that time, these immigrants in San Francisco, they didn't want to take the material or have to pay to take that material to the landfill. So they were resourceful and they recovered these materials that had value. Joe talks about learning from his grandfather or his father, John, and how that stuck with him. And when he was in high school, he tells great stories if you ever get a chance to come on a tour and have Joe lead you. When he was in high school, he was on the hotel route in San Francisco. So he'd go from hotel to hotel, picking up their waste, and he noticed a lot of silverware being thrown away. So he'd start pulling it out, and he outfitted himself, all of his family had full sets of silverware. It may not have all matched, but it was nice quality silverware. Well, then he kept finding it, so he started putting it in boxes, and once a month he'd go back to the hotels and sell them back their silverware that they had discarded during that month. So not only was he a scavenger, he was also an entrepreneur. So this stuck with him as he got into the business, started Marin Sanitary Service. And in 1979, he applied for a grant with Cal Recycle that funded the first curbside collection countywide of recyclables. So recyclable collection was available throughout the community, but people had to bring it. He saw this material being discarded at the curbside and wanted to recover that material. So with that money, he bought some buckets and outfitted a truck to where they could go door to door picking that up. And of course, this material was separated by the consumer. So this led to our current collection of dual stream. Marin Sanitary Service has never gone to single stream, but went from the buckets to a dual stream collection. So there's efficiency for the residents to be able to combine this material into one container with a split. But it's not compromising on the quality of the material. We just heard about A quality and B quality, and we'd like to think the dual stream gets close to that A quality because it's not all commingled. So it's compatible with most trucks. I'll talk about that in a little bit. You don't necessarily have to have standardized or specialized carts, and it keeps that quality high. So we're doing high grades of paper. We do office pack and newsprint. as well as mixed paper. And we really see the quality, the value in the quality of our material. For our cardboard bales, we don't have glass in them. And this has made a big difference with the National Sword, as well as the supply chain issues that we've all seen with COVID. We've continued to have a strong demand for our bales of material because of our reputation of clean bales. Our glass is very clean. I was at our glass recycler a couple months ago touring their facility, and they remarked at how clean our material is. So clean that when it comes in, they don't have to pre-sort it. They put it right to their color sort. And this means that we get more value out of it. So we're getting a high dollar amount for this material when some companies are having to pay to have their glass recycled. So there are a number of communities that are doing dual stream in the Bay Area. I'm going to focus on 3 today that recently changed from single stream to dual stream. So it is possible. Windsor converted in 2017. And this was a transition from single stream with a new hauler coming in at the same time. There were some big challenges here. There was a condensed rollout schedule because of some contract issues and late awarding of that contract. And that really hindered things. But some of the successes came in overcoming the misconceptions of dual stream. And during their summer concert series, where a lot of the community comes, they're very popular. The company had the split carts out there with ambassadors that were helping people sorting in the right place. And we're also able to answer some of the questions that the community had about why this changed to this new type of collection system. Mill Valley Refuse is a really interesting case study. So, excuse me, they went from single to dual stream. Same company. Mill Valley has been collecting in that area prior to that. They went to a every other week collection of fibers versus the containers. And this allowed them to do it without having to get new trucks and having to get specialized containers. So some of their challenges were they had some general contamination before, and they felt like had they been able to clean that up before making this change, that could have helped things. And of course, the big challenge was the every other week set out of material and the calendar and getting the community used to when they were supposed to set out which containers. They had 2 separate containers. Their successes that they had was being able to do this as a pilot program helped get the word out to the community that this new collection was happening. And it actually helped them to clean up their contamination by implementing dual stream, which is an interesting concept. By being more conscious of what they were putting into their containers, it helped with overall contamination. And then they use rear end loaders still for their collection. And so that the drivers are handling those carts and able to see and mitigate any contamination that is there. Excuse me. Milpitas rolled out in 2017, similar to Sonoma County Resource Recovery. They had split trucks and split carts. Some of the challenges they faced were misconceptions about the truck not really separating the material. And so that's where they put a lot of their education. And they've seen through their education campaigns an adoption and improvement, and have had some success with the rollout of their programs. So this brings me to the topic that has been a theme that we've focused on, of equity and inclusion. And I thought, who am I, white male from Marin County, to come and talk about equity and inclusion before all of you? And I don't think dual stream is the answer for all of our problems. But as I thought about it, I was at a presentation last year at Waste Expo by a gentleman, Ian Rosenberger, with First Mile. They work in the global South with communities on recovering their material and getting those materials to some of the manufacturers of the products that we buy. And in those communities, 2 million people do not have access to waste management, but 90% of the materials are reused in those areas. And that's because out of necessity, they recover, they see the value. And I thought back to the roots of our company and the scavengers, and they understood this value, and therefore they kept this material clean. So as we talk about dual stream, you know, it's not the answer to all of our problems, but it is recognizing this value of the material and keeping it clean and engaging the consumer as well. One of the big complaints we get is that I have to participate in separating the material. That's your job. Well, no, it's your material, and helping us keep it clean and valuable is a way that they can participate in that, and that all communities can adopt this and participate. So technology can help with this as well, as we try and implement dual stream with sorting, robotics, and optics. You can run the same material over the same line and have those machines pick out different materials. So it's feasible, and you can all implement it. And thank you. I'll take any questions.
All right. So we need a question from the in-person audience, please, first. Show me your hands. None? Oh, here we go. Yep.
Is this also for your commercial and multifamily customers, or just single family?
Yeah, good question. So at Marin Sanitary, we do this for our commercial as well. All of our customers are dual stream. Windsor commercial was single stream, but so it can work in both ways.
Great. And then a question coming from our virtual community.
Just had one come in from Laurentine, Brazil. I just had a presentation with our elders over 60 years old. They feel the empty, clean, dry message is too difficult to follow. Is there a future where the onus is not on the consumer to prepare their material? Will it always be this way?
So I think that's a bigger question than dual stream recycling, but maybe this concept of ownership of those. I think that, you know, we've come to this. I think we've probably all seen that picture with the disposables flying up around the people rejoicing at disposables from the 60s. You know, we've shifted as a culture to convenience. We've shifted the accountability and the responsibility away from us. And I think whatever we can do to bring that back to the consumers and to the producers of the packaging is beneficial and healthy for the environment and all of us.